Unfortunately, I happened to watch this video on the internet, and then that is when I believe there is something seriously wrong with the speaker, as well as to his half-baked knowledge on what he thinks that he knows about mind, thoughts and consciousness. Well, there is many other things that I would like to talk, but then initially, to get started, I'll just start with this clip.
Even the idea of God has really emanated from the human mind itself. What if even
what if kafir you are saying this? God emanates from human mind. As a matter of fact, human mind is the wall between you and the God. That is what you are told. Don't use your mind. Then what should I use? My knee? My toe? What should I use? माइंड मत यूज करना, उससे तुम कभी नहीं समझोगे. गुरु का माइंड सुनो क्या है. It's a big fraud.
Okay, so as I said, I'm a bit of a lamb to slaughter because
See, there are many things which is wrong in this video, that is for sure, which I will reveal in the coming days. On the first place, the title itself is wrong. Okay, what is that? It's brutally honest interview on religion and whatever. On the first place, this is not brutally or brutal. This is a stupidity, and this is not honest. The reason why it is not honest is because the content that this elderly person is saying is a half-baked knowledge or the half content that he has on something or some religion or whatever he thinks that he knows. Unfortunately, we have to deal with this kind of people where they come up with some half knowledge and half-baked content, and then they try to persuade people in such a way that they claim that they know everything without even knowing what it is all about. And in this part of the video, the anchor says,
So, Javed Sahab, I'd like to begin with something unsafe, which is the making of you. You were born into a Islamic family and culture, and today you're an absolutely unflinching, I would say almost a fundamentalist atheist. What made you an atheist? What made you reject your own culture and religion and embrace atheism?
If the question is, first of all, I'll have to explain about my parents. They are dead. Please don't be so unkind to them. They had nothing to do with Islamic culture. They were decent people. Now let's come to the point. Why I'm an atheist? The answer is very simple in 3 words. Because I think. That's all.
the elderly person whom you are seeing on the screen has rejected his own religion. He has literally rejected his beliefs on his own religion. He has rejected the beliefs of their parents, their father, their mother, their family. There is a strong belief system within their religion itself. I am not talking about the religion which some other religion. We are talking about the religion which he is coming from. He has rejected everything, and he has rejected literally their family, their parents' thoughts and beliefs. If you are not listening to your own mother or your own religion, how can you even comment on someone else's religion? Or how do you expect him to listen to someone else's mother when you don't listen to your own mother, own parents? And this is what happens. And this is what happens if you don't listen to your own parents. You end up with a half-baked knowledge, and I can see his frustration or anxiety, and so what is going through in his mind, and that is the reason why he is trying to make a conclusion, and then he is trying to persuade people in a way that just because that he doesn't believe his own religion, that doesn't mean that people from their same community doesn't believe their own religion. I have many friends who come from this religion. I have some distant friends who believe in their religion, and they respect their own parents and their belief system. And on the other side, there is this elderly person who is against all these beliefs and the cultural aspects of it. It is very unfortunate for the people who is sitting in front of them and then listening to his words and uplifting or cheering him for his unbaked, or I don't know what do you call, it's a unfurnished, mindless, fictional talks. Unfortunately, there is no history or there is no source which is supporting his talks. So now coming back to the thing that I wanted to highlight here is primarily on the mind and thoughts, and it is very unfortunate to know that person with a half-baked knowledge sharing half-baked content, and it is even more unfortunate to the people out there who is hearing or listening to him and they are cheering and clapping for his thoughtless, rootless and sourceless content. That's definitely fine. It's not the problem with the student, it's always the problem with the teacher. So we have to judge and we have to make sure, we have to be very careful in choosing who is our teacher is or just a speaker. So if not, you have to listen to such a thoughtless, factless, sourceless and rootless talks. So now coming back to the main topic of this video, that is mind, thoughts, and why you should not listen to your mind, which is what we feel and what we think according to our belief system. But Mr. Elder Person says that why we should not listen to our mind. Mind is everything. It is what we have. That's the super thing, or supernatural power that we have, and then why we shouldn't use it. So if I don't have to listen to my own mind, should I listen to someone else's mind, and should I believe in someone else's thought process? And this is the kind of questions which Mr. Elder Person was saying in one of his video. So the real reason, or let me just give a simple clarity on this and give a different perspective towards it. So the problem with this elder person is he might have just sat for some few minutes, or he might have just read couple of pages in a book, and then he just came to a conclusion that okay, so whatever they are saying, whatever the other person is saying, whatever the other religion and the belief system that they have in their religion is wrong, and whatever he is saying is right. So that is not the case. That's what I am trying to say or highlight here. Half-baked knowledge or half-baked information that you have in your thought is always dangerous to you as well as to the people around you. So what you have read is right. We should not listen to our mind. That is what we say, yes. But then the reason why we say why we should not listen to our mind, you need to understand that. You should have a patience to understand that as well, right? The reason why we should not listen to our mind is not because we don't appreciate it, or it's not because we don't value it. So what I'm trying to say here is you have to understand the other aspect of it. So what exactly is mind? Mind is nothing but a heap or a collection of thoughts, right? It's a logical repository of thoughts, and the thoughts that is generated in the mind, it creates an emotion, and the emotion triggers an action. See, so this is primarily the linking and the connection system that we have with all the way from the mind, thought, emotions and the actions. Just say, like, if you are doing all actions without any definite purpose, then what happens to your body? You will end up in hospital, right? Or you may have to face the consequences. In the worst, you have to experience the casualty. So basically, if you just keep on listening to your mind and if you do an action, that definitely will end up in fatality. Let us start with a simple technique, or whatever you call it, as a program. Just sit for few minutes in an empty room, and then just don't speak anything. Just turn on all the devices and just sit for few minutes, and just try to observe the different thoughts that is coming to you. For just sit for 5 minutes, or if possible 5 to 10 minutes, and see like the number of thought that is getting generated in your mind. Just write down, if you can't write down in detail, just write down the numbers, like thought number 1, 2, 3 and 4 as such. Just write it down in a paper and just sum it up at the end of the session or a program, after the 5 minutes or the 10 minutes, and then see like for that 5 minutes or 10 minutes how much, if not 5 or 10 minutes, just sit for 1 minute and observe, and then just write it down how many thoughts that has came to your mind in that 1 minute or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So, and each of this thought is not erased, it stays in your mind, and each thought has an emotion attached to it, right? And that each emotion can trigger an action which can affect your body. So if you just keep on functioning your body as per the thought, so it's like you are doing multitasking, right? You just keep on doing one task at a time, and then every minute your thought changes and your emotion changes, and then that emotion triggers a different action. So what happens here? It's a heap of multitasking. It's basically a heap of thoughts doing multiple actions and it's basically a multitasking. So multitasking is always injurious to the mental health as well as to the physical health. Just assume or think that, let's say you have a PC or a laptop, and it has some configuration that comes with the laptop or the PC, and let's say you have opened like hundreds of or 10 to 15 applications which is running parallelly. That is nothing but multitasking. What happens? After some time you will experience the slowness in your in the system. In some stages, after that, at some stages the system doesn't respond. You may have to kill or stop some of the processes, and you may at the end, if that is also not possible, then you have to definitely restart your entire PC. This is exactly what happens to the human body as well. If you try to do multiple actions, your entire body system, it just mentally as well as physically, it just hangs and it doesn't respond. It creates mental issues and physical issues. This is the reason why we should not do multitasking. It's just as that. And this is the reason why we say that you should not listen to your own mind. Okay, and I'm not saying that you should, if you don't listen to your mind and you're just making some funny, I can totally understand that coming from, I believe like an elder person like you should is a very good candidate for the Amazon Prime or some Comicastan. You should be a very good competitor for that. But then when it comes to the factual content, when it comes to the belief system, when it comes to the actual psychological aspect as well as the physical aspect as well as the factual content and the scientific things associated with our belief system, I think you definitely lack, and you definitely need some level of training that is required to make sure that you understand before you speak or deliver a speech on some sensitive content which is believed by the millions and billions of people around the world. Just try this out. Let's say just try to derive the number of thoughts that is getting generated in your mind and try to pen that down. And let's say if you try to do all those actions without any definite intentions, what level of damage that can do to your body mentally as well as physically. So that is something which is very difficult to even imagine, right? Our actions and thoughts and our life goals has to be in sync. So our mind just can't work on its own. It has to be, there should be some intentions and there should be some definite goal that has to be specified. And then it's just like a chat GPT, like you just ask for something and it gives you. If you just, it's, let's say if that thing, the chat GPT or any machines which just keeps on, if that keeps on running every now and then without any intervention, so does that make any sense to you? No, right? So you will ask anything to the chat GPT and the chat GPT gives that to you. Even without asking for anything, if that keeps on working 24/7 without a stop, is that good for the chat GPT or is that good for the receiver? No, right? It's the same way. So you should give a break to your mind and thought, and you should use your mind and thoughts only when there is a definite intentions and purpose and a goal. You set a goal, you assign that goal to your mind as well as to your body, and then achieve that goal using the two resources that is provisioned to you at the time of your birth. And those resources are nothing but the physical resources, which is a body, and the so-called powerful resources, which acts like a GPS system to your destination. So it acts like a destination. It's basically a GPS system in a car. You just enter the destination point, that is a goal that where you want to reach, and the GPS system will show the path. You drive the car, which is your body. You drive your body to that destination to reach your goal. That's what it is all about. At the end of the day, you should not run your brain and thoughts 24/7. It can be very dangerous, and the thoughts are something which is very sensitive, and it keeps on changing. The thoughts can be influenced by the outsider, right? Yes, of course. So if you didn't understand what I said so far, let me just try to say the same in a different perspective. Assume your car is like your body, and the GPS system, and the road and the path is your mind, okay, and the driver is your goal or your intentions, your purpose, your goal in life, your purpose in life, your ultimate thing. So let's say you have a goal, and that goal is you want to travel from one place to another place, and the starting place is, let's assume it as Bangalore, and then you want to travel all the way to Mumbai. So what do? So the goal here is the driver, that is you, which is the ultimate you. And for that specific goal and for that specific intentions, you are making use of your valuable resources, that is your car and the GPS system, which is nothing but your mind and thought and the emotions all together. You are making use of these two resources to reach to your destination, which is your ultimate goal. In this case, if you don't have your definite purpose, and if there is no goal or if there is no destination, you just start your engine and then you just drive everywhere. What happens? You are just wasting your resources, you are just wasting your valuable time, right? You are just wasting the GPS system. You are just not underestimating it, undervaluing the GPS system, and then you are physically destroying or not potentially using the car for the effective purpose. So what happens if you don't use your car for the effective purpose, and if you don't want to reach your goal, or if you don't want to reach the destination, it's just you just go everywhere, and then what happens? Without any proper refuel or without any diagnostic, without doing any services to your car, at the end of the day, what happens? It ends up into some sort of disaster, right? That is exactly the same thing that happens to your body and mind. If you just use your mind to drive your body, you should not drive your body by listening to your mind. You should drive your body and mind by listening, by setting a goal in your life and purpose in your life, and then achieve that purpose and goal by making use of these two valuable resources. That's what we are trying to say. Just that you have listened to half of the conversation, and then you thought, like, we did say that you should not listen to your brain or the mind or the thought. Yes, we did say that, but then you didn't listen, or you don't have patience, or you don't even have a need or purpose or an intention to understand it fully or to learn fully. It is just that you got the half knowledge, and then you just spreading that half knowledge to this entire other sets of audience out there, and then they are cheering in some I don't know. I request the elderly person not to deliver a content to the audience, to the precious mind, because on the internet there are many people out there, very innocent people, and there are many youths who are listening or seeing to your content. And please make sure, please please take that responsibility in your hand when you are sharing some information out there, and also make sure, try to make an attempt to understand any content, that you understand it, you experience it, only then you come to a conclusion, and then share your end results. Without knowing anything, without any perspective, with just an half knowledge, or half-baked content or data without any proper roots, without any proper source, please don't make any assumptions and don't deliver any uncooked information to the people or the audience out there. Thank you so much. Lastly, I would like to share with you one last thing which pretty much sums up the entire conversation. The elder person who says that he doesn't believe in God, and in the back end, in the banner, there is a God in Godzilla. Thank you.